Please rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning and welcome to RPtv. Today is Thursday, December 2nd, 2021. When it comes to the holiday season, many people enjoy the wonderful traditions, while others look for new and interesting ways to celebrate. And sometimes these two ideas create conflict, just like what has happened in Asbury Park. Cooper has that story.
Some people in Asbury Park yesterday thought the Grinch stole Christmas when they found a cardboard Christmas tree in place of the real tree that was every year prior. Officials say that they have decided to ditch the green tree and go with a 17-foot cardboard creation. The reviews have been mixed, with some people calling it beautiful, awesome, and brilliant. A transcendent work of art that reimagines the holiday experience with local touches of the Jersey Shore. Others, however, have described it as ridiculous, ugly, and hideous, something that can be compared to a pile of Amazon shipping boxes or a giant cat distracting posts. One person said it doesn't feel festive at all because of the lack of lighting. The design is so the tree can be recycled after its use and is supposed to represent the seashore town.
It's that time of year when everyone wants to know who were the top artists and what were the top songs of 2021. Damien has that report.
As the year draws close, Spotify has released its annual report on insights from songs streamed on its platform. For those who don't know, Spotify is a popular streaming platform which consists of 70 million songs. This year's Spotify Wrapped report concludes that Puerto Rican artist Bad Bunny has been streamed for the most for a second year in a row. His songs were streamed 9.1 billion times. Taylor Swift, Drake, Justin Bieber, and BTS also made the list for the top 5 most streamed artists. Too much of no one's surprise, artist Olivia Rodrigo's song, Driver's License, is the most streamed song of 2021 globally. Montero by Lil Nas X came in second, as well as The Kid Laroi featuring Justin Bieber's hit song Stay came in third. Olivia Rodrigo's song Good For You took 4th place, and Dua Lipa's rounded out the top 5 with Levitating, featuring DaBaby.
And now it's time for announcements. Art Club and National Art Honor Society will meet every Friday starting this week in the Art Room in 102. Join us for creating art and hanging out with friends. Newspaper Club will meet today, Thursday, December 2nd, in Room 2 at 2:50 p.m. If you have not yet submitted your draft, please do so ASAP. The RPHS Theater Department is pleased to announce that the 2022 RPHS Spring Musical will be Roald Dahl's Willy Wonka. Auditions for the musical will be held December 7th and 8th at 6 p.m. Sign-up sheets and audition packets are located in the high school main office. All students that wish to audition must sign up. Fill out an audition packet and bring the packet to the audition. Please see Mr. Wachowski, Mr. Williamson, Ms. Dombrowski, or Mrs. Arango with any questions, or email musical director Doug Panetta at dpanetta@rpst.org. If you are looking for some fun and knowledge, check out the French Club. Upcoming meetings are scheduled for December 9th and December 16th. The time is 2:45 to 3:45, and the place is Room 3. You think we know everything there is to know more to know about dinosaurs. A new discovery has determined a new species. Cooper has the details.
Fossils found in Chile are from a strange-looking dog-sized dinosaur species that had a unique slashing tail weapon, scientists reported Wednesday. Some dinosaurs had spiked tails that could be used as stabbing weapons, and others had tails with clubs. The new species has something never seen before on any animal. 7 pairs of blades laid out sideways like a slicing weapon used by ancient Aztec warriors, said lead author Alex Vargas. It's a really unusual weapon, said Vargas, a University of Chile paleontologist. Books on prehistoric animals for kids need to update and put this weird tail in there. It just looks crazy. The plant-eating critter had a combination of traits from different species that initially sent paleontologists down the wrong path. The back end, including its tail weapon, seemed similar to a stegosaurus. The fossil is from about 72 million to 75 million years ago and appears to be an adult based on the way the bones are fused. It was found in its front end flat on its belly and the back end angled down to a lower level, almost as if it was caught in quicksand. The bird-like snout to tail tip stegosaurus stretched about 6 feet, but would only come up to the thighs of humans.
Stay tuned, we will be right back. Thanks for watching RPtv. Have a great day and stay tuned for CNN 10.
Hi, I'm Carla Bazuz. Two of the topics that have dominated the news in recent days are inflation, the rise in prices of the stuff we buy, and the Omicron variant of COVID-19. What happens when you put these two together? That's what economic analysts are trying to figure out. To be clear, no one knows yet what kind of impact Omicron is going to have. The World Health Organization says the Delta variant, a previous mutation of coronavirus, is still causing most of the infections worldwide. And as it began to spread earlier this year, Delta caused a lot of the problems we're still seeing with the supply chain. That's included factory shutdowns, shortages of manufacturing materials, and store shelves with less inventory. And the U.S. Federal Reserve, the nation's central bank, says the supply chain disruptions made the inflation problem worse. Earlier this year, officials said rapidly rising prices would be transitory or temporary. Now, the Fed's chairman is indicating that America's inflation may not settle down anytime soon. And a big reason why is that supply issues are hard to predict. They're not spread out evenly among factories, shipping, trucking, warehouses. And fears about the Omicron variant may add to the complexities of the problem because if it spreads like Delta did or sickens groups of people who work closely together, more factory closures could be on the horizon and people may be hesitant to work with others in close quarters. With a shortage of workers already causing challenges in several different fields, anything that keeps more people from working could only make things worse. But again, it's not known if Omicron will sicken people the way Delta did, or if existing treatments and vaccines will work against the disease. So it's hard to predict any sort of future economic impact at this point. The current impact continues to take a toll, especially on the nation's farmers.
As Jim Jones finishes the sweet potato harvest on his North Carolina farm, skyrocketing costs are slicing through his profits.
Are you seeing any more money from this inflation?
No, we're actually paying for it.
The price of fertilizer, fuel, and labor are way up with no ceiling in sight.
How did your profit change this year?
I would say maybe 10-15%.
What about looking ahead to next year?
I'd add that much more to it again.
Despite those markups at the market, many farmers say the price they receive for their crop isn't going up. So your price is staying the same?
My price staying the same, or a little lower.
Why don't farmers just raise the price of their crops?
Farmers are price takers, not price makers.
Patty Edelberg is vice president of the National Farmers Union.
Who's making the money from that inflation?
Much more the middleman than anybody else.
The USDA confirms that in many cases, processors and distributors that get food from the farm to store shelves are the ones passing along their surging costs, with materials and ingredients still stuck on cargo ships and a shortage of labor and truckers driving up wages and costs.
To some extent, we're also trying to pay for the uncertainty in the marketplace right now.
Trey Malone is an agricultural economist at Michigan State University.
So we're in the middle of a perfect storm of unique events in agricultural production. I would say buckle up for a while longer of these higher input costs.
Some farms are stocking up on materials in case suppliers run out. Others are waiting, hoping prices will drop. All these costs, especially labor, are threatening Matt Alvernaz's California sweet potato farm.
We were making $100,000 to $150,000 a year in profit. This year we're probably going to lose $80,000 to $120,000.
And it's only getting worse.
We could potentially lose $250,000 next year. We would not have enough cash to take into the following year in order to get our operating loan in order to operate for the following year.
Farmers are used to volatility, and both Alvernaz and Jones are now looking for ways to adapt, like downsizing or shifting to other crops.
It's gonna worry you, but I ain't gonna let it get me down. We'll survive somehow.
As long as these money problems stop piling up.
We just need to get a fair price for what we're growing.
Gabe Cohen, CNN, Washington.
10-second trivia. What is the smallest species of rhinoceros? Sumatran, Javan, white, or Indian? Sumatran is the answer, though they can still weigh more than 2,000 pounds. But our next story concerns white rhinos, the largest species, which can weigh more than 7,700 pounds. There are two subspecies of white rhinoceros, northern white rhinos and southern white rhinos. The northern ones are on the brink of extinction. These are believed to be the last two left in the world, and they're both female. Southern white rhinos were in similar danger in the late 1800s. At one point, there were believed to be fewer than 50 of them, but thanks in large part to the work of a nature reserve in South Africa, there are now thousands of southern white rhinos. Because they're still threatened by poachers, illegal hunters, dozens of these large animals have been flown to another African park where it's hoped they'll reproduce and thrive for decades to come.
40 hours and some 3,400 kilometers. 30 white rhinos complete a long journey from South Africa to a new home in Rwanda. It's the largest single transfer of the species and a move to replenish the white rhino's struggling population, one largely devastated by poaching since the 1970s. The journey was no easy feat. White rhinos are one of the largest land mammal species and can weigh up to 2 tons. Following months of preparation, the partially sedated rhinos were transferred from South Africa's Phinda Private Game Reserve. They boarded a Boeing 747 to Rwanda, to their final destination, Akagera National Park, a space that the staff of African parks believes will provide a safe haven for the threatened species.
White rhinos are being persecuted on the continent. Their numbers, they are not stable. They're on a knife edge. They could go either way. If something happened to Kenya or to South Africa on the scene of white rhinos, that is where the majority of white rhinos are. Then white rhinos are really on the brink of extinction. So it makes no better sense than to bring them into safe areas we know where they would thrive.
Grunner says the animals will be safer here than they were in South Africa, where he says 3 rhinos daily are killed by poachers.
We brought black rhinos here in 2017. They are thriving. We brought the lions here. They are thriving. We've proven as the management of the park, but also with the government collaboration, that it's a safe, progressive place and that we can ensure their security.
Poaching remains the primary threat to these animals, targeted for their horns. There are only about 20,000 southern white rhinos remaining, considered near threatened, and only 2 females of another subspecies, the northern white rhino, on the brink of extinction. The 30 white rhinos are welcome additions to the park, which has seen a decline in tourism during the COVID-19 pandemic. White rhinos enjoy grazing in open spaces, so visiting tourists can expect to get a good look.
The white rhinos are going to be seen in the open spaces by almost all the tourists, so it's going to be something that will really help a lot on the tourism side.
Initially placed in 2 large enclosures, authorities say the rhinos will soon be able to roam the expansive park, with plenty of room to grow. Zain Asher, CNN.
After a few days on the lam, Steve is finally back in the pen. This is Steve. He's a goat. His day job, along with a team of other goats, is helping the city of Clive, Iowa, keep invasive plant species out of the green belt. They do that by eating them. But Steve recently went AWOL and spent 4.5 days wildly roaming the city. Finally, a family cornered him at a car dealership after he stopped to admire his reflection in the glass. Seems he traded his freedom up for his pride. You could say there's mutton too, it didn't cost him his hide, but all kidding aside, he'd still be on the limb if he hadn't stuck his chin out to admire his vanity. He made a bad choice, Santa couldn't be clearer that he missed a bleat when he stopped to stare in the mirror. You can't chew the cud reflecting on your own reflection. He should have hoofed it moving on ahead in any direction, but in working for the city, he's sure to get the vote that when it comes to escape artist, Steve's the GOAT. Alright, we love to recognize schools that use our show and put up with my pun raps. We find them exclusively in the comments section of our YouTube channel, and today's shout out goes out to Laguna Hills High School in Laguna Hills, California. I'm Carl Azus.